So, how's it going? Welcome back to another video. So, today I've got a little bit of a different thing. I kind of thought up this little theory. It's a little theory. It's a bit fucking stupid, but we're gonna talk about it because I tweeted about it and I want to talk about it. So, I have this theory that Mualim from Assassin's Creed 1, not to get confused with Mualim from every other game, because Mualim actually means the mentor in Arabic, if you didn't know that. Fun fact. But you know which one I mean. The one from AC1, Rashid Ad-Din Sinan, is that right? I don't care. That one, I feel like he's a sage. Now, I have multiple reasons to back this up. So, sages have different eye colors. I know you're going to be like, the only reason his eyes look different is because he's blind. But that's the point. You don't know what color his other eye was. You don't know what size the eye was, because they also have the other thing where the one eye is smaller than the other sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't always show, like with what's his name? With the dude from Unity, the guy in the past, Jacques Demolay, he didn't have the heterochromia or the other one where they have different sized eyes. He had none of those. So, and he was a sage, so that's still, but the fact that one of his eyes is blind, it's scarred always, because in the Secret Crusade, Altair talks about, like, when he was a kid with Abbas, they joke about Al-Malim's fucked up eye, because he's a fucking cunt like that. But they used to joke about Al-Malim's fucked up eye together, and so that means that he's always had that. From the entire time Altair knew him, he's always had that scar. So we don't know where that came from. Possibly self-inflicted, because he started getting these, visions of Aita and stuff. He's like, fuck this, my eyes are fucked up, and this has got something to do with these weird visions, fuck this. And he, like, kind of did it to himself, and then he was like, okay, that was retarded, let's not do that again. I'm getting too in-depth, but the point is you don't know what his other eye looked like, so he could be a sage in that regard, but sages don't always have the different colored eyes and different sized eyes, so it doesn't matter anyway. But another thing is, he became drawn to the apple. Now, I think that's to do with Aita's memories coming through, because as well, we know Aita, through the ages, we had Robert, was that his name? Roberts, Bartholomew Roberts. We had him, he was one of the head Templars at the time, I believe. No, wait, was he a Templar? Nah. I think he just betrayed. Roberts wasn't a Templar, but he was involved with Templars and Assassins kind of thing, and then he just fucked over everyone and was like, fuck this shit, and then Edward was like, nah mate, and killed him, about enough stuff about Juno and whatnot. And then we had John from IT, who was, he was he was the leader of the Instruments of the First Will. He wasn't an assassin or a Templar. He broke in through Abstergo, though, and he was part of Abstergo. Not a high-ranking Abstergo employee, but he was part of Abstergo nonetheless, so Templars. Then again, we have Germain, who was Grand Master of the Templars in the French Revolution. We also had it was a German spy who was a Templar in Assassin's Creed Syndicate. We then also have Desmond's son, whose heritage is assassins, and he's a sage. So it makes sense that Mualim would be a higher-ranking assassin and also be a sage, because it's what sages do. They like to infiltrate these orders, fuck with everyone, just so they can get what they need, which is Juno. And I assume that he was very confused at the time. Mualim, if he's a sage, he was super confused. He's like, what the fuck's going on right now? I'm getting these visions, and I don't know what's happening, and I'm someone else at the same time, and that's what normally happens. Sometimes they go insane, and I think he thought, if I can take control of the apple, wipe out the assassins and Templars, I can use the apple for myself, and maybe that'll help me understand this better, because I think that his first Civ DNA, because he's a sage, super communed with the apple. Like, he connected to the apple more than Altair did. Altair was very drawn to it after he acquired it, but Mualim, as soon as he acquired it, he was drawn to the apple. Like, an immense amount of connection with the apple was there, because he wanted to take out the assassins and the Templars. He wanted it for himself. That doesn't scream, high concentration first Civ DNA, because sages have like 6.8% first Civ DNA, which is an insane amount considering Desmond and Miles didn't even have 1%, I don't think. I think it was like point something, which is insane. And Desmond was super connected to the apple. Sages have more DNA, and so, this Mualim being a sage was super connected to the apple. It linked with his visions because he saw all these symbols, and he thought, shit, it's the same thing, let's use the apple. And the apple connected with him and somewhat fed off of him, because I think that's what the apple does. You see in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, it feeds off of Ezio's health when he uses it, so it was somewhat feeding off of his brain, sending him insane, as well as getting these visions from Aita, sending him insane at the same time. And so he wanted to use the apple to rectify that. He used that to then take out he used Altair to take out the Templars. He used the apple, he was going to take out all the assassins, and he wanted control for himself. He wanted order in the world, and the same as Juno does, the same goal as Juno, wanting order through control, and wanting to control the people, not necessarily for peace, like the Templars do, but just for control because you want power. And that's essentially what Al-Mualim wanted, and it kind of links up the fact that Al-Mualim has all these attributes that link to being a sage and being, you know, an instrument or a servant of Juno. It really, really makes sense, and it's one of them things where it's incredibly similar to, you know, a Bartholomew Roberts situation or John from IT, or even Germain in a sense, where John from IT, he wasn't an assassin, wasn't a Templar, he was using the Templars, the Abstergo, to get high enough up that he could try and help Juno. And I think that a lot of sages do the same thing, and it makes sense to me, you know what I mean? It makes sense. Al-Mualim was a sage. It makes sense. Obviously, he wasn't a sage when they made Assassin's Creed 1, because sages only came in 4, but I'd have to say that if they were to retcon it, it'd make a fuck ton of sense. Not that they need to, and not that it even really matters anymore, but cool, innit? It's cool. I think so. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Was Al-Mualim a sage? Yes, he was. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to smack that like button. That'd be absolutely amazing. All the support you guys have given me has been absolutely insane, and it's crazy. And it's crazy, guys. And I literally can't even... it's absolutely insane, guys. And it's crazy, and it's great, guys. And that's it for this video, guys. And that's meant to be VPR gaming. That's, you know VPR. You don't know what VPR gaming is? Not surprised. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye!
Leaping from my places, rivers are flowing red. Now we're defying, now we're uniting. Go watching from the skies. These streets are burning up. They're starting fights here. I'm gonna take it to 'em all.